Buffering still slow. Do you see it? What? Why did it end?
It's like whenever you said "do you see it," it came out "do" and then it ended.
The heck? Shows I'm still streaming on this end. Well,
My end does not show. I'm trying to reload it. Yeah, the only thing it got was "do."
that's weird. I can't figure this out. It's so far behind. Like, can you hear it pretty well? It should be back on.
I'm reopening it. Did that tell you how far behind it is?
Yeah. So, I guess, give me a live chat.
Alright, I just hit send.
Oh, there it is. So it's sitting pretty fast. But apparently I'm pretty delayed, and I don't care for that.
It's not uncommon for it to have a few second delay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, if it ain't no jack torrents. Oh. I'm trying to test this thing out. Can you hear me pretty good? Well, it's just the delay is the thing. Yeah, I figured I didn't know if anyone would get notifications from this. I'm just testing it out still, see if it'll even work and how well it'll work. The camera's good, the quality's good, the sound's good, but the connection seems slow.
Because it's a live, whenever I opened YouTube, since I'm subscribed, it was automatically the first thing up.
Ah. Oh, that's nice, Efurd Garage. At least it's giving notifications this time. I think not much of a live person. I've only done it once or twice, so seeing this screen compared to what I see, it's so far behind, it throws me off. That is okay. I think last time I did a live, I was with other people, so I used their link. That may be the difference. It's the first time I've actually gone live on my own channel. It seems to be no buffering, good speed, all that good stuff, so I think it's doing pretty good. Thank you. You'll probably make it back to your phone before you see this.
Nope, I got back just in time to see you soon.
Well, Okay. Checking everything out. Everything seemed good on all y'all's end? Because I got some settings I could play with to change things, and if it's good, it's good. Alright. Sound is a good thing. Because I'm just using my Sony 4K camera that I use for my normal filming, and I have it connected through a device that connects to the computer, so I didn't know how well it would work because it's the first time using this camera this way. It's an older device too, actually. It's AverMedia, little mini gamer capture device. Alright, now that I know I can stream, and we're already here, this kind of, I'm thinking about doing this for an Efurd Garage Talks, where I just talk and everybody talks, questions, all that good stuff, random conversations, probably mostly cars, obviously, because that's what we do, but didn't really have a topic. I just wanted to test it out and see how well it worked. And since we got good sound and clarity from A-Lug and Jack Torrance, tells me we're doing pretty good. Now I don't have the perfect setup. Camera angle's probably a little shoddy. But my cords that are having to run certain directions, there's 3 cords coming out of this little mini box. It's kind of limiting me on where I can move everything, which is fine. Got a little ring light behind here for light, so I guess I don't need this microphone. I'm just using the one built into the camera, and it seems to be working great. So let's see. Yeah, it's doing, everything is doing good. That's great. Yeah, the Sony is pretty good equipment. I like this 4K camera that I got, and I know you've seen it, Jack, because, you know, in the shop. It's got a crazy zoom. It's 4K. And for a handheld camera, it's got a good built-in mic. And I can't complain. It's a little pricey, but not compared to what some other people pay for cameras. Of course, I got a ton of GoPros, and those are great, but not for this. Not for your average recording either. They're great for action shots. The car guy. Yeah, I don't know. The GoPros are great. I love them. I don't even, what's the newest model they're on now? 12 or something? I think what got me on GoPros was the accessories. You'd buy a series, like I'm still on 8, but I have so many batteries and accessories that some of the batteries are not interchangeable with the other batteries, so getting more GoPros of another series and collecting batteries gets expensive. And it took me a while to get the GoPros I have. But I do love using the GoPros on the cars. Oh, it's 13 now? Jesus. I think I remember it used to be every couple of years they came out with one, and now it seems like every year they come out with a new series almost. But I haven't even looked into the the 13 at all. It's kind of hard to really imagine. Yeah, they do have screens built in. Not all of them do, if I recall. The basic cheap ones don't have a screen built in, but your better ones do. Of course, then you have the 360s and stuff like that, and I can't recall if the 360s have a screen because I've never had one. But like all my Hero 8s have a built-in touchscreen, so you can... They got minor zoom. They don't have a lot of zoom, just a little bit of zoom. Some of the earlier ones didn't have windscreens. Hero 13 Creator. I'm going to assume that allows automatic, probably live streaming and stuff like that. Because I haven't even looked into it yet. In fact, while we're here, I can do that. The Hero 13 Creator Edition. Looks pretty good, actually. Light mod, Enduro battery, which probably a lot better battery. It's one of the things that GoPro sucks at is battery life. Always have. Pontiac swap Ford, why not? I'm okay with that. 100%. Oh, they have a premium subscription for the Creator, so it comes with a lot of accessories and all that good stuff. It's a pretty neat one. Looks like they've updated they got a forward-facing screen on it. That's nice. They've upped their game quite a bit. Because I think when they went to 8 to 9, I was like, there ain't really much difference between 8 and 9, or even 10. But I have 8 GoPros, so trying to replace 8 GoPros is expensive. Yeah, that Creator one right now on GoPro's website's $5.99. That's a pretty good price tag. But you get all those accessories, so it's probably really not that bad. Oh yes, the Pontiac swapped S10. I thought about doing one, but I kind of got tired of working on S10s. Mainly because of the lack of space under the hood, and lack of space for tall people inside the truck. Yeah, Jack's 600. But in all reality, for what you're getting with that Creator Edition GoPro, it's not that bad. Because I remember the Hero 8 came out and it was like $500. The Hero 8 Black was like $499. It didn't come with any accessories or anything. No extra battery. And it was $499, so $599 for the 13 Hero with the light mod and the Enduro battery and all that's really a pretty good fair price. If I had to replace GoPros, I'd just go ahead and do that, but mine are still working, so I'm going to hang on to them for now. Oh well. Yeah, GoPros are worth it if you use it a lot. And since I have 8 8s, I'm good. Save money, buy speed parts. Yes. Yeah. I already got the cameras. Don't need to replace them unless they break. And they've fallen off some cars going down the road. It happens. But I do need more speed parts, that's for sure. Plenty of room, S10 gutted. Yeah, I think... Well, the only problem is, it's just, for the S10 to me, small block Chevy with headers was kind of a pain. It wasn't horrible like people say, but it's kind of a pain. I'm not sure how... Do you have headers on the S10 with the Pontiac, or is it like ram air manifolds or something? Of course, you know, you don't have spark plug issues with headers on a Pontiac, so that's great. It's one good thing about a Pontiac. One of the many good things, but there's nothing wrong with a small block 350. Nothing at all. My 81 GMC I daily drive still small block 350. I prefer Pontiac, but I don't have a problem with the small block Chevy. True. You can afford it, stuff like that. I'm a poor boy. I still struggle. Chop the fenders on the S10. Look, if I'm going to chop fenders on an S10, I'm going to transplant the part of a Trans Am that will have the fender vent, so it'll have the fender vents in it if I'm going to chop a fender of an S10. You know me. Or I just cut it, fab it to fit the Trans Am fender vents. Yeah, big block Chevy and an S10 are extremely tight. I'm not sure. I've actually seen, usually a small block Chevy and an S10, you see shorty headers. And I've seen long tubes, and they're kind of usually either fender exit, or they got this weird two-piece long tube that wraps around the frame. It's odd. And it looks like it would be a pain in the ass to install. And the big block Chevy, I'm not sure how they do it, and if there's any modifications. Yeah, E-Lug. They shot themselves in the foot whenever they got rid of Pontiac, because that was, I mean, back in the day with the Pontiac engine, Pontiac was the performance division, and even after GM made all its divisions go corporate, unfortunately, Pontiac had aura, if you will, or a vibe that was more aggressive than the other divisions to me. I mean, even up there to the end, stuff like the 2000 to 2002 WS6 Trans Am was one of the most aggressive looking cars at the time. And for new cars above 1980, it's still probably the most aggressive looking car made. Because that thing just... If they would have kept Pontiac, they could have done a lot better, but GM has obviously made mistakes. Yeah, the 90s, we dog on the 90s, but you can't really beat them. They were, those little engines you could beat the crap out of, you know, and they weren't really that bad. I remember driving, my mom had a 95 Grand Prix. I remember driving it. It was a good little quick car. Couldn't complain, you know. Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit was one. And a lot of people were hooked on Smokey and the Bandit when that Trans Am came out. But before that, which I wasn't born, but you had two-lane blacktop with that 70 GTO. And of course, you know, you had the 55 home-built Chevy in it, but that was, man, a 70 GTO, and that was pretty good. Of course, you have Hollywood Nights. They had that red 65 GTO in it, and that was a gorgeous car. Dazed and Confused, of course, it's got the 70. Yeah, having your home paid for is great. I'm working on it. I don't owe that much on this one, but unfortunately it looks like when I pay it off, I'm going to just sell this one and go buy me a house with some land so I can have a shop finally. Comes a headers, one tube, the steering rod goes through. Yeah, that's usually what I see on the shorty headers, because I always had to do that. Had to take the steering rod off, go through the header. But the long tubes I've seen are weird. They wrap around the frame in two pieces. Yeah, Jack, those 95s are pretty good. And I know you would be way better with no payment. Wouldn't we all? Yeah, I agree that I actually don't really care for the second gen S10s as much. I like the first gens because they do look like little C10s. Like, they look like a mini C10, which is pretty cool. And I will agree with you, they do have more room under the hood. But they're still just limited because it seems like the frame rail's just a bit tighter. Well, it is a bit tighter than the normal truck, so it's just slightly limiting. And I bet you could get more room if you use custom motor mounts instead of the usual aftermarket mounts that they have. You could probably fab and adjust and create a little bit more room. I remember I had the 80 C10 and then I had an 82 S10. They were both black and red, so it's kind of like a mini-me, if you will. Of course, the 80 square had a big block and the little 82 had a 350 small block. It's a fun little truck. I ain't gonna lie. 350 throttle body injected with the fuel injection still on it. And it would just spin the tires like nothing. Got good gas mileage too. It had the 4L60 still in it, and then I sold it. But third gen's pretty cool, but they don't sell them in America. I'm not surprised. They do weird stuff like that all the time, like the 81 to 87 C10s as we know them in that square body style. They actually continued making that until 91, 92 in Mexico. So here it stopped in 87, but they continue making that exact same body style in Mexico. So you'll see them sometimes, but not very often. Oh yeah, the third gen little. Oh, okay. I don't know, my mom had a 2005 S10 Blazer. Two-wheel drive. Vortec V6. It was alright. It was a good look. That Vortec V6 lasts forever. I think it had over 200,000 miles when she got rid of it. But they quit making engines like that because then they'd last forever. Probably could have got more out of it, honestly. It's kind of like even the old, I'm no import fan, the Hondas. It's Honda 4-cylinders from the 90s were almost seem bulletproof. 2025 S10 is only in Brazil. I'm not surprised. I'm not. We get to Colorado. Or not? Is it the Colorado? I forget. Yeah, the Colorado. For here and us, it felt to be a small truck, but it's still the same size as my 81 C10. That was considered full size. I heard that they just don't make small trucks here in the U.S. just for the simple, I guess something to do with emissions per vehicle weight or something. They can't get it right. I don't know. It sounds like a bunch of governmental lie BS. Because it seems like, oh, we need more fuel efficient vehicles. You think something like the first or second gen S10 would be a very economical vehicle to have back on the streets, considering that Colorado's a lot bigger. And I'm sure it gets decent gas mileage, Colorado's, but they also don't have the bed space old trucks used to have. Hey, 40,000 miles on a 350 Vortec, you got like 260,000 miles left on it, so you're doing good. The Vortecs were pretty good. Cylinder heads are pretty decent. You can't get a lot of lift on a cam on them, like crazy, like the traditional small block. But, I mean, they're good. They're good, strong blocks. Pretty decent cylinder heads. You can carb swap them easy if you want to. It's pretty easy to get an intake and a distributor for it and go. But yeah, 40,000 original miles is good. Saw new Ford Expeditions on 33s. Really? 33s look good to you? I'm surprised. But then again, that Ford Expedition's probably so freaking huge. The 33s don't look that big on it. Probably looks like it's running 20s on your truck, actually. Ford has a Ranger and Maverick truck, yeah. I've seen those. And I don't know, I don't think they did the Ranger justice. I mean, obviously the Ranger started off as a full-size truck, and then it went to the small-size truck like they did with the S10. And the old Rangers were good trucks, but yeah, the new Ranger and the Maverick truck, they ruined it. Yeah, car swapping the Vortec 350 is pretty good. That spider injection, it works. It kind of reminds me of working on the Porsche 911 back in the day. I remember having to do those with what looked like a fuel distributor. Had the distributor and what looked like a full fuel distributor spider injector set up. That was weird. And of course, that Vortec was a lot easier and simpler to work on that spider injection, but it worked. When it worked good, it worked good. When it doesn't, it doesn't. But going carbureted is a lot simpler and easier to take care of, maintain, and all that. So, and I'm not sure. I think the spider injection was pretty limited on what it could do. Ranger is now really tall, kind of ugly. All new vehicles are ugly to me. I don't see any I like. I'm just old school all the way. But it is pretty tall, and they just make trucks too big. They really do. I remember going to Home Depot and seeing a guy strap 2x4s under the truck because he did not have enough bed space to even hang it off the back of the truck. Which, what's the point in a truck if you had no bed space? I think it's been a while since I had an old school S10 to really judge it, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say a short bed S10 from the 80s has more bed space than a modern truck does in a short bed. Because those short beds are really short now. Especially when you have a quad cab short bed, you ain't got really any bed left. And they're just big, bulky, and not very appeasing to the eye to me. But what do I know? I'm stuck in the past on the way vehicles look. No, it's really not. Your truck bed, you can't really use it for much. I mean, I know you got that toolbox in there, so you really can't use it at all. But yeah, without that toolbox, it's not a very long bed. You can't get much in it. Yeah, they do have. They've gotten away from a lot of stuff, and there's no soul in a car. There's no style. They think it's style, but I'm not calling it style. I don't know what to call it. I guess they're going for aerodynamics and some kind of weird look. You lose a lot of truck bumpers are painted down, no chrome. I guess unless you get one of the, I don't even know what, I guess Silverado probably isn't the top of the line anymore. Back in the day when you got a Silverado, that was your top of the line model. Now, I guess it would be like an ATV4 or something. I don't know. The new stuff has got me lost, but it's more like they just got fancy dash stuff. You know, fancy display, heated cool seats, heated steering wheel. Just luxury items that doesn't really matter to me, especially if you're working. And I do miss the old school bumpers and chrome trim and the old style. You just can't beat it. I mean, never know why they do that. New trucks are more of a fancy gadget. Yeah, they really are a more fancy gadget. There's so many gadgets and doodads and whistles and bells in them that it's ridiculous. If anything breaks, you're screwed on it, like 100%. And the way you take those dashes apart, you're going to break plastic on them. I don't like the push button start and all that. Yep, square and round key GM keys. I still have them. That's what I rock every day, daily driver. Every once in a while I'll drive my G8 just to keep the fluids good in it and so it doesn't sit very long. But that's a highway car for when I go on trips. But yeah, I daily drive the old stuff with 2 keys still. The push start buttons are so easy to hijack now. Like, people literally will just break in. They have a blank key fob and a laptop. Hook up to your OBD2, get in there with a laptop, program that key fob to that vehicle, then push the button and they're gone. It made it easy on thieves in a sense, because once they get in with that laptop, they can shut down a lot of stuff. They can shut down probably tracking on it if they wanted to. The thing that's supposed to help you, they can shut it down. It's so easy to program a key fob, they can do it in less than 30 seconds now. And then if you have that key fob and the battery's low, you gotta like make sure it's really close to a certain spot. Now, I know back in the day, if you knew how to hotwire a car, you could do it pretty fast, but it required work. When you just open the door, hook up a laptop, hit a few buttons because they already got the program ready, key fob's right there, it's probably quicker than hot wiring it. One thing I really honestly hate on new vehicles is the auto stop. when you sit there and pull up to the light and you push the brake far enough down that the engine shuts off. I can't stand that. And then when you go to take off, it hesitates. And that's... I can't stand it. I did find that driving some of those, if you slow down, and I think it was a BMW I was driving. Had a buddy with a twin turbo BMW he let me drive just to see how it was. I figured that you could just hit a certain spot on the brakes and you'd come to a dead stop, but it wouldn't shut off. He also had a Silverado that way. And yeah, but other than that, sometimes you could turn it off on the dash, the auto's on off, but then as soon as you start it back up, it resets it, so every time you start the vehicle you had to do it. Actual metal on classic versus aluminum today. Mini even has plastic valve covers. That's, yeah, and they crack and all that. Plastic intakes crack. You would be amazed at how many zip ties are in them. I'm not surprised. You gotta do what you gotta do. The thing about new cars is, yeah, it's cheaper metal. And it's crazy because my G8 has that thin metal that the pecan tree, if pecans fall off of it, it could dent it. The truck could go through a hailstorm and not even flinch. But yet, the G8 weighs more than my 81 GMC. But yeah, the metal is... The aluminum Fords are tin cans. And all the metal, like you said, all the aluminum and thin metal today, they're throwaway cars. You either got to fully replace the panel. They're harder to do body work on. And I think most of those body shops, they just replace the full panels now. They don't really actually do body work anymore. I'd rather have that old metal. And when they went to plastic valve covers, that was a joke. They crack a lot easier. I guess it saves weight. And it's probably cheaper for the production, I'm sure. And especially when they have to sell you a new one because you cracked it or it gave out, or, you know. Heating and cooling in plastic ain't going to last as long as heating and cooling on aluminum. My uncle showed me how to hotwire a car when I was young. Right, yeah, no, he's... that's when when one of your family members say, oh, I forgot the keys. Reach up here, and hit that button, it'll start. My uncle had one of those. The little push button hidden that when he lost his keys, you could just start it. Ford used plastic engine transmission parts for several years. Yeah. Transmission bolts are in backwards now. You pull the... Oh, yeah, I've seen that where you have to... People are pulling the engines up completely, or the cabs and stuff just to work on them. That's ridiculous. That's... They don't want people to work on vehicles. Hello there, Mr. Mach 1. How you doing? Just testing out my live stream here since I've never done it before. Just talking random about cars and stuff. Right now, Fords, because, you know, I'm not sure if Fords are the only ones now that you have to pull separate the chassis, basically, from the body to work on some of it. Thank you, Mr. Mach 1. I found a way to do it, and it's limiting my position on the camera, but it seems to be working pretty good, so I'm happy. Where's Mr. Mach 1? Old school Ford guy. I think I go to a Chevy dealership here Got a buddy of mine that works one. He works at one as a parts dealer, and some of the stuff I see in the shop, I'm just like, man, I am glad I do not work on newer cars. I can't stand it. A lot of that stuff's ridiculous. I just don't like newer vehicles. That Gen 3 Hemi was a pain in my ass. I don't understand how anyone can get behind a Gen 3 Hemi. I guess they make some power, but man, they got some problems. Especially when you start digging into them. Barely strip out a exhaust manifold bolt and be prepared for a coolant leak. That's great. Yeah, old Fords. There's some pretty good old Fords. I had a Ranchero, and I don't remember what year, 72 or 74 dent side. But it was like slammed to the ground almost. It was a pretty cool little truck. Just a little 302 in it. Nothing special. Just a cruiser. It was alright. It wasn't bad. No, you got that right. No one wants to be a mechanic anymore. Newer cars are a pain. They really are. Like, well, not only are the cars a pain to work on, I've seen people go into a mechanic shop expecting to make a lot of money. And they get paid per... See, you get a... There's flat rate, and then there's the other one, I forget what it's called, but... Y'all can correct me on that, because I can't remember the name of it. You get paid basically for what you fix. And if you're waiting on parts, and your bays are full, you're not making any money. And some of it is just ridiculous on what you got to do to fix it. And sometimes the hours they want to charge for labor don't match up. Yeah, you got to have a lot of special tools to do anything now. It's getting kind of crazy. 100% agreed, Mr. Mach 1. The BOPs in Cadillac. I guess Cadillac held its own for a while, actually. But, yeah, they got rid of Buick, Pontiac, Oldsmobile pretty early on in the 80s, and that was the biggest mistake they ever did. And there's a lot of mistakes they made earlier on before that with Pontiac, because they kept Pontiac down. They did not want Pontiac to outsell Chevrolet to be... GM had a thing for Chevy to be number one and the Corvette. Every time Pontiac tried to surpass Chevy, which they could have easily done, GM put them down. Yeah, Jack, you need to... I got your Blazer running the other day. We really need to just get that back on the road. You really should start driving it again. It is extremely simple. There's not a lot to it. It's you can't beat it. Like, it's just a simple four-wheel drive of the new Ford engine. It looks like a plate of spaghetti with all the wires on. I believe it. They probably got sensors for sensors now. And I guess, there's some people that will sit there and tell you that fuel injection is way better than carburetors any day because they're more efficient and all that. But with all that wiring and how small some of those wiring are, one small problem creates a whole nother problem. And of course, as well as the sensors, one little problem with a sensor, one little voltage problem, and whoop, it don't work so good no more. And one thing I just saw that, and I couldn't imagine what the newer ones look like. If I thought it was bad already, but I guarantee, I wouldn't want to mess with the new engine. That 2010 Dodge was the newest one I've really dug into, and that one was already a pain. I would not like the newer stuff. They should have also made the 72 style longer and extended the square body frame. Yeah. That is, the 68 to 72s are probably one of the most popular body styles. They didn't do it very long. Like I guess you could say 73 to 87, but technically to me that's two different styles because that front end's so different. I still kind of like the 63 to 66, 67-ish. I still like those. And they did make some of the square bodies into the 90s, but they're Mexico trucks. I think it went up to 91 or 92. If you go down, you can find them in Mexico that are the squares. You see them every once in a while up here for sale, and people flip their lid because they're like, that's not real, that's not a real 92. And it's like, it is. Oh, 91? Yeah, that's why I couldn't remember. Yep, Mr. Mach 1, I am also a carburetor type of guy. Keep it simple. I mean, it's you got to keep it simple. I like my carburetors. I still love my Quadrajet. I also like quick fuels. I've had good luck with those. Holly's, I'm not a big fan of Holly. And Edelbrock carburetors, you might as well just throw them in the trash to me. They make good intakes and good cylinder heads. But they should have left the Carter AFB alone. Because I don't know what they did to it, but it's, yeah. Yeah, I agree. The old throttle body injection from like 80s into 90s, those are simple, reliable, easy to work on, easy to fix. And you know what? Those throttle body 350s are talked down on by a lot of people, calling them junk. But I've seen them go over 300,000 miles. Those are good, strong engines. Is there anyone around Fort Smith that overhauls a 2004 5.4? That's probably a 5.4 Triton, I would assume. 208,000 miles. That's gone pretty good. I had a good lifespan on it. Trying to think of someone that would overhaul one of those. I know most people don't even want to change the spark plugs on them. And by overhaul, I guess you probably mean a tune-up, which I can't tell you any shops around Fort Smith. I haven't been to a shop around Fort Smith other than walking into some to talk to people in forever. Actually, the only shops around Fort Smith I used to go to and talk to was like Dyno Performance and Pro Speed, but as far as mechanic shops, I couldn't recommend one. Holly carburetors are for dummies. You know, I had to admit, the thing is, like, with Hollies, they do require a bit of work. A lot of jet changing and everything. But I've always been kind of one of those, a Holly, you keep jets in your car, because if you hit a railroad tracks, you're going to have to rejet your carburetor. But you know what? They work for some people. And I find it funny when I see Holly with their sniper fuel injection kits and all that. They literally make fun of themselves and their jets to try to upsell their fuel injection kits that are way overpriced. Quadrajets are good. Oh yeah, Quadrajets are probably one of the best carburetors out there. They had such a long span of range on how long they were used. And that tells you something, that if they use something that long, it's probably for a reason. Probably because it actually worked and it was good. I mean, they didn't change the Pontiacs. See, since 55, most of your engines were the same. A few changes here and there, but it worked. So, they didn't need to change it. That tells you something was good. They didn't have to revamp it all the time like it seems like they're doing now. TPI, TBI, it didn't last very long. Spider injection didn't last very long. Port injection lasted for a little bit, and then they changed to direct port injection. Who knows what else they're going to do. Now, Kenny Ray's up on Midland. Hit and miss, I guess. I don't know. I've never used them. I've heard of people using them, and it's hit and miss. Lately, I don't know, though, so. Jack, where's she picking up food? Because I'm kind of hungry. She can drop off something on her way. And when it's all said and done, give me a distributor, an HEI distributor, and a carburetor, and I'm happy. That Indian place that opened up. Which one's that? I've been to the one a while back that was over there on Rogers, right there at the end of Phoenix. Didn't much care for that one. Of course, I probably just don't like Indian food. I tried it, didn't care for it. It's also a weird environment going into an Indian restaurant, because they do things different. And they also kind of look at you when you don't know what you're doing. Oh. That sounds pretty good. Smoked chicken and taters. Can't beat that, really. Smoked chicken's pretty good. And tater tots. Yeah, or any kind of potato, really. Potatoes are great. Yeah, I'm hoping to get some stuff done on my truck eventually. It's going to grill some burgers, but my wife didn't want them. Yeah. It happens sometimes. Sometimes you just get the hankering for something different, and you go for it. I think my wife right now is actually making spring rolls, which I like spring rolls, Vietnamese style. Of course, I douse it in chili paste because I'm a glutton for punishment. Gotta have the spicy stuff. Alright, Mr. Mach 1. Get those cars out and have some fun. Have a blast out there. And thanks for stopping by. Really, smoke. I guess it depends on what kind of wood you use for smoking. What really makes or break it, and how you smoke it. I think some people smoke meat too long and dry it out. And honestly, a lot of people find it crazy that I live in the South and I really do not like barbecue. I'm not a big barbecue fan. And I live in the South. Mainly because most people use a sweet barbecue sauce and I like spicy and savory. Yeah, applewood and pecan are pretty good. So, next time I lose some pecan limbs, I'm just going to throw them in the back of your truck. And speaking of, come wintertime, just come over and pick the pecans out of my yard while you're at it. Because, I got a lot of pecan trees. I don't like pecans. And that's probably because, I had to pick up and break open a lot of pecans as a kid. Although I do like pecan trees because in the South, when you live in Tornado Valley, or Alley, you have a lot of wind. The pecans are soft. So they bend without breaking as easy in some of these storms compared to other trees like oaks. Oh yeah, food and cars. That is what makes it great. And Jack will remember this. Because I know Jack was there back in the day when the Pontiac C10 was just the SS C10 tribute truck that I had. I would go Thursday nights with my dad. He'd drive a 69 GTO to TJ's Drive-In. And this was the greatest thing that came around because he started it around 2007-8 doing this cruise in on Thursday night. Because at that time, a lot of people, that scene was almost kind of dead. And we would, the tire shop next door would let us use that parking lot. Car hops would come over and we'd have like a show and shine in food. And those burgers are great. The sourdough jalapeno buns. Yeah, we were young back then. Oh man, that was great. You know, the food, the environment. They always played music. It was a great time. I do miss those days. Obviously, I miss my dad because me and him spent a lot of time there on Thursday nights. But there's a lot of those people that went there that are gone now. Not just my dad, but a lot of other people. A lot of the cars are gone. Some of those people got out of the hobby. A lot of them are still in it, but a lot of them passed away. And it was just great because we would sit there, go to the drive-in, eat, hang out, have a blast, and then we'd cruise downtown, sometimes get into races. It was pretty fun because eventually people figured out what we was doing. We'd just go cruise downtown, sitting down Garrison and all that, and then come back. And people found out about it, and some people just came out of the woodworks just to try to race some of us. And it was just a blast back then. And I do miss it. I wish you could do something like that again around here. In fact, I need to figure out a way to do that again. I told my mom if my YouTube ever actually picked up real well, I would actually buy her a restaurant to manage. Because she's worked in restaurants her whole life. She's tired of working for people, but she can't get away from it. That's just what she wants to do. So I told her I would buy her a restaurant. But the catch is, it had to be a drive-in. And we'd have to do a cruise in like that again. And the ironic part is, that's where my dad met my mom, is when my mom used to work at World Burger, which Jack knows. You remember World Burger back in the day. That was a long time ago. But it was what state am I? Arkansas. I'm in Fort Smith. Not really too far south, but south. The good old World Burger. That was something. Couldn't beat it, really. Loved it. It's hard to find a place like that around here now. We got a Dairy Freeze. Yeah, Dairy Freeze. Not Dairy Queen, Dairy Freeze. And it's an old one. It's at the end of Midland before going over the Midland Bridge into Van Buren. And they still got the old-fashioned burgers and fries and shakes and all that. They're still pretty good. But it is kind of a bad side of town now, so, you know, give and take. It's been a while. Hadn't been too long. No, yeah, Kentucky's cracked down on that. Here it's not so bad. I'll just say there's been several times, and I'll just say stories I've heard, you know. Sometimes the cops will show up, look at you, look around, there's no one else around, and like, alright, go home, I don't want to get called again. I don't want to do no paperwork. Or, there was one time it was actually, I would say the only time they've ever got real, well, they were pretty picky about it for a while, but last time, and I wasn't involved in this at all, is there's a group I know that goes out and does, you know, Mexico, goes out to Mexico and races in Mexico, as everyone calls it. It's no secret of what that is. One guy wanted to come race with them, so they were like, okay, that's fine, you can come out and race us. We're cool with that. That dude proceeded to post on his social medias that he was going to go out and do some street racing, and a lot of people showed up, which brought a lot of attention. And as we know, attention's bad. So the cops showed up, and they got pretty feisty over that one. Usually when they show up, because there's not that many people, but there's over... The guy told me that was one of the main ones was there was well over 50 cars, probably 80 to 100 cars, which is outrageous, and they got mad and yelled at everybody and told them to leave. But usually when they show out and there's less than 10 cars, 20 cars, there's like, you're not hurting anybody, you're out here alone on some random street in the middle of nowhere in Mexico. Go home. They just don't want to see you out there doing it. They're a little more chill and relaxed here. You're more likely to get a ticket here than you are your car taken. So, yeah, it's their defense they crush your car. Now, that's just... The bad thing about it is there's a lot of tracks closing down, so what are you supposed to do? I mean, luckily, one of our tracks only shut down for a couple of years and someone got ownership of it. Until the original owner died, his son wanted just to make money off the land and try to sell it, and then this person finally bought it and reopened the track. But of course, it is a outlaw track. Pretty much no prep, bad surface, kind of almost not far off from being on the street at that point, but it's a track, and it's probably about 40-45 minutes away from me. The other one is an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, and it's those are both 8th mile. And the actual closest quarter-mile track is 2 hours at Tulsa. And then Mocan's the next closest in Oklahoma City. So don't really... Yeah, Centerville's like an hour and a half, I think. And it's 8th mile. There's another one down there south of that. And I can't recall the name of that one. I think it's around Pottsville or something. I don't remember. It's another one of those little 8th mile tracks. But Centerville seems like a drive. If I'm going to drive to Centerville, the amount of time I can almost go to Tulsa to a quarter-mile track. So I got 40 minutes to an 8th mile. And if I'm going to spend the hour and a half to 2 hours, I'm just going to go ahead and go Tulsa to quarter-mile. Because that's just more logical. And it's a better track. Still, my favorite track is in Ohio at Norwalk. It has got to be the best facility ever. Because Tulsa has a pretty decent track. It's older. The bathrooms are okay. The parking lot sucks. But then you go to some place like Norwalk, Ohio, to Summit Motorsports Park, and you're like, oh wow, this is a facility. Big, clean, a lot of parking. The pits are in great shape compared to Tulsa. The pits are not in great shape. And unfortunately, it's probably just from lack of people going there. In Centerville, I can't remember last time I've been to Centerville, to tell you the truth. Now, Jack, I don't know if you remember this one, but you may remember in Van Buren, there's a trucking company there now, but it was an old airport. Now the trucking company uses the old airport as a test pass for people to take driving tests with semis and train them and all that. But it used to, before that trucking company bought that property, it was a no prep drag strip. And I remember going there quite a bit when my uncle and them used to race there. And then the other drag strip we had, which was Razorback Dragway, which is actually not far from the shop we work at, Jack. And it got torn down to make room for Hiram Walker and Gerdau. But that's where our other drag strip used to be. All we have is 8th Mile locally. Yeah. I prefer quarter. 8th Mile's alright. But it's kind of one of those things where if you're running 8th Mile, usually a lot of people will gear for 8th Mile. So they'll be really, really a lot faster in 8th Mile. And then they can't do anything past 8th Mile. They'll go low gears and just poof through the 8s. Then they can't do a quarter. But I'm not one of those people where I'm going to sit there and have a different gear set for 8th and quarter mile. Some people do. I know Mike Cooper does on his Firebird. And he'll change it out for 8th or quarter mile runs. But I guess 8th mile is okay if you don't want to. For some people, you get too much speed in a quarter and there's not enough room to stop it after that. In fact, at the South Saw drag strip, the Outlaw one years ago, There's a guy with a newer Camaro. He had one of those special order ones. He bought the Camaro SS and sent it off to one of those performance shops and had them do work to it. And he put drag radials on the back, and I think he put 15-inch rims on it. And his ABS did not like that, accordingly. And it lost brakes on the 8th mile and went across the other street and crashed pretty bad. Found your channel. I was looking for air gaps. Oh yeah, I never bought the air gap. Yeah, the air gap intake is, in theory, it's great, but all I see that Eldebrock did with it was, we've made the same intake for 10, 20, 30 years now. What can we do different? Oh, let's do this. Instead of trying to change and maximize intake runners, plenum volume, stuff like that, I think they could have done a better job than the air gap. Now, I will say having the air gap will be cool at a drag strip where you can throw ice under it, bags of ice under it, and cool it off really easy and keep that intake charge cool. Because aluminum's a heat sink, and if you can pull that heat out of the aluminum, it'll help. But when you're under a hood, you ain't getting no way to cool that aluminum. Aluminum pulls heat, and it'll get rid of heat. But unless you got a good way to get rid of that heat, it just still gonna get warm. Actually, Fortress, it's 300 miles per hour, and the 8th mile is insane. I couldn't imagine. You can't. I don't know if you could calculate 0 to 60 on a pass like that, because you're going 0 to 300 miles in 1/8 of a mile. The G-force on a pull like that must be ridiculous. 183 mile an hour in 1/8 is still. Most people don't even do 120 and a quarter. On average, I want to say 10 seconds and faster is when you get kind of 120, depending on your setup. 120 and a quarter, which is still fast. You know, a lot of people don't say it's fast. Still fast. It's still rocking and rolling. I mean, you got to have 100 at 150. You got to have a parachute at a quarter. I don't know what it is on 1/8. No, I think the fastest I ever gone was 130-ish. Somewhere around there. 130-ish, 132, 131, 132, I think it was. Yeah, anything 8th mile is... yeah. 8th mile still don't have that much of a stopping lane or distance, so yeah, stopping that after running that fast would be scary. You know, you got that you only got so much shutdown, and you're either going to sand or hay bales, so you would think they would make longer shutdowns, but I get it, you need more land. Now, I can't remember the track. There's a track, I've seen 1320 at it, where the shutoff lane's actually up a hill, which is great. That would help a lot. Just even a slight incline would help at the... Obviously, after 1/8 or quarter mile or whatever, But if incline after that, at least decently, because you don't want to start inclining while you're going pretty fast. Some of those cars will bottom out. But that would help a lot. I think I've seen some tracks that actually slope down so you kind of could pick up speed. And that would, while you're trying to slow down, picking up speed going downhill, that's not what you want. Now they do say that some of your braking is in your tires. It's not just your rotor and caliper size, but it's your tires and how wide of a contact pattern they can do to stop. So some of those drag cars where you got your skinnies on the front don't stop as well, especially when you got slicks on the back. But you know, weight reduction, rolling mass reduction, all that good stuff. If you want to go fast, you gotta find ways to do it. Now I guess that means you gotta find ways to stop too. Parachutes do help. Well, except for that one car. I can't remember which car it was. There was one that had 2 chutes on the back. I think only one deployed, and the way it was set up, the way I guess he had the chute set up, is one didn't deploy and the other deployed. They're supposed to deploy at the same time. Since that one deployed on one side, it caused the car to actually turn and it crashed it. Indianapolis, that track goes downhill. Yeah, that would... Yeah, trying to go that fast and stop while you're going downhill, that would suck. I've never been to a track in Indianapolis. I usually just drive through it and get out of there as fast as I can. It's yes, Indianapolis may not be that bad, but I don't care for the traffic and get out of there. I'm not a big city kind of guy. I think Norwalk actually goes downhill a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, it seems like it does. Or maybe it's just the angle I'm at when I'm there, because I'll be on top of the roof sometimes. And when I look down the track sometimes, or in the pits, seems like after the quarter mile there, towards the end it kind of sloops downhill on that track a little bit, but it's got a pretty good shutdown lane, and they keep that track up pretty good. Indy is an interesting place. Yeah, I just wouldn't know because I just go through it as fast as I can. Kind of like St. Louis. When I go through that place, I want to get out of there. Now that would be fun to get on the speedway and do some laps. That would be fun. It'd be fun if you really could bank it and really get up there on those steeps and just... I'm sure that sometimes when they let you on there, they don't let you actually do that. They just let you go around the base of it. It's probably insurance reasons or whatever. Yeah, he did. Poor Ed. He hit the wall. We all know why, though. It's because Roger Rose touched his car. That's what we all say. That's what caused him to hit the wall. What really caused him to hit the wall, I don't know. But at least it got fixed. Clay fixed it, and it looks great, so... And he wasn't really too upset about it. I remember going back to the pits after he hit the wall, and he was just sitting there eating ice cream. Just like, nothing I can do about it. I'm going to have an ice cream. I guess that's a good way to look at it. Oh, damage is done. Too late now. I'm just going to cool off with some ice cream and sit down. Yeah. NASCAR experience at Talladega. That would be fun. I'm not a big NASCAR guy, though. I can't watch the round stuff. I guess I could if it was like back in the day. In the 50s and early 60s when it was true factory stock cars that were, and they were really gunning for it. Now it's chassis or body on chassis, and they just sit there and pace themselves for a lot of it. Good old Roger, that guy's hilarious. Yeah, if you want to call it that. I don't know. Roger's a good guy. Nothing to see here. I daily talk to all of them, so Roger and Clay and Dill and Darren, Ed. And yeah, we just try not to let Roger touch things because he usually ends up breaking things. Alright. Good. The Bomber Division. I guess I don't know what that is. Never heard of that. Didn't last long. Was it not popular, or do they... I guess that would probably the most... Oh yeah, the Gasser brother groups. Yeah, that's... Yeah, they do have their own following. They're nut jobs, to say. Guess you could say I am a Gasser brother, but I mean, where do you usually find me if you go to a Pontiac event, whether it's Uprising or the Nationals? If I'm not filming, that's where you'll find me, is with the Gasser brothers. Heck, Dill don't live but about 2 hours away from me. I like old Ed. Ed's a great guy, honestly. He's pretty good. And yeah, he's the only blown GTO with AC. Oh, that sucks. They tore it down and built the UPS. That's a shame. Yeah, blower cars are pretty popular with the Gasser brothers, isn't it? Dill, Darren, Ed, all blower cars. Clay is all motor. Chris in the 61 Ventura, he, I don't know what, he's got a new engine coming up. That's all I can say. His old engine was all motor. New one, I'm 100% not sure because he's not really telling us anything except that he's going to maybe be faster than Clay and Dill. But that was fun, so I gotta go because I gotta eat, and the wife just said so. First live stream seemed pretty good. I liked it. Didn't seem to see any issues, so we're good. It's great talking to all of you. Something don't ever get to do other than comments, so Alright. Enjoy y'all's evening, and I'm gonna go have some dinner. Dill has Hemi side, which is the one with the Pontiac Hemi heads. It's a 65 gasser, Kaufman, Hemi heads, and all that good stuff. Alright. Peace out.